Hello everyone and welcome to LSI Summer Season, the Friday tier. Almost said the wrong thing. Alright, let me start again. Hold on a second. Hello everyone and welcome to the LSI Summer Season. We're today for the Friday tier, the Hungarian Grand Prix Round 1. This is going to be a Grand Prix format. So the normal format, 18 minutes qualifying and a 50% distance race. However, we now have dynamic weather. I have no idea what the weather conditions are going to be today. These guys do. Zingy goes and does a 15.7, so that's the current benchmark. Now what we've got to try and figure out is everybody using a wet setup or a dry setup. Now the problem is around this circuit, even if you want a wet setup over a dry setup, you're probably going to be running high downforce regardless. So I think even if you're on a wet setup around Hungary, you're not, or no, a dry setup around Hungary in the wet, you're not really going to be struggling as much as you would around other circuits. We do have some good news. Obviously, we're back. We have some bad news. Zingy is on the grid. No, I'm joking. We have some bad news. My controller that I use to commentate, of course, and spectate, it did just disconnect. It's reconnected and it seems fine, but I can't guarantee that that is going to stay like it. I do not know. We've got Heisler who's going into the pit lane. We have one of the two Red Bulls to finish their lap. We've got Reigns on his debut here. Great to see. Reigns, very, very good chess player as well. So check him out for that. Across the line, let's see what this is. A 17.9 right there. Pursoon, Robbo, Curran, all the good F1.5 drivers up the front there in the season. Right now, they're at the back, but you know, we've still got a long way to go in this qualifying session, and I think they're going to be ones to watch. Pursoon does have new equipment, brand new pedals, which are going to be very interesting for them, although their game did reset, so they're actually going to be possibly finding a couple of issues here and there, but they should be good. Nevertheless, a 15.9 there for Curran to put a little bit of pressure on Zingy, still 2 tenths away, but like I said, we've got time in this session, lots of it. This is going to be a standard race, as I did say. It is a Grand Prix format, which does mean that there's not really going to be too much to worry about regarding like a sprint. We do have a sprint next week with Silverstone, and then of course we have a week break, and then we go to, I think it's Spain, Brazil, then Qatar and Las Vegas. Qatar, Las Vegas, they're also Grand Prix events. However, not Spa, Spain and Brazil. Spain is going to be, I think, a 35% distance race, which is going to be full qualifying with a 35% distance race. And then I think we have Brazil, which is another sprint race, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, with that all said, we've got a couple more things to look at shortly, I'm sure. Some people into the pit lane now, 11 minutes on the clock. Let's see what we can do. I'm just going to try and sort something a second. So I do apologise for the tiny delay, but I'm sure you guys don't mind too much. We should be good to go. Nevertheless, just got to look through a thing or two. I do apologise for the delay. Right. I think that should be done for the most part. We've got one more driver who we are trying to get in. They are from Crossplay, so the name is going to be displayed slightly differently, but I'll tell you what, it's exciting stuff. We haven't done a league race using the cross-play kind of platform, if you like, yet, so we'll see how it goes. We've done plenty of lobbies in the past, and they've been alright. Not the best in the world, but they've been alright, so I think we're going to give it a shot with this summer season, going into the next game, of course, and then we'll see, make a judgment. Is it going to be good enough for the official seasons? So we do have some new people in. Pursoon, he's on an outlap. We have Igapro, who is also on an outlap. The only driver displayed as F1 Igapro, that's because I've forgotten to change the F1 to LSI. Everyone in the summer season is going to be running LSI, except for if you're on the crossplay platforms, either console or, of course, EA. Now, Pursuit's going to start his lap. Let's see what the AlphaTauri can do. Will AlphaTauri look for a second Constructors, or Teams title, I should say, in a row? it's kind of a series championship. It's not an official, so it will be a little bit different. And that could be the new equipment right there. Just trying to get used to it with his pedals, as he does make a slight mistake on the throttle, which just brings him out of shape. A little bit of a tail whip, but he's still got time. I think 9 minutes on the clock. Maybe he'll want to consider just running this and then going again on this stint. I don't know if you'd really want to try and go back in. It really depends though, because if they have a full wet race or an intermediate wet kind of race for the rest of the session, no dry sections at all, they're just going to use all their softs without any worry. I do apologise once again. I think we're going to have to look into something. Hold on a second. Okay, so I'm going to try and get our crossplay lobby driver in, and I'm also going to try and see if Reigns can get back in the lobby, because they've disconnected, which is never what we want to see happen. So let's see what we can do. Sorry for this. Brand new stuff for us, so we have a little bit of a, not lack of experience, but less experience in this area, of course, of the game. But we should be good. Alright, Pursuit, he is going to go for a second run here. This time he's going full commitment. He's given it his best shot. Let's see what we can do. Up the hill, turn 4. Some people call it turn 5. I call it turn 4. And over the track limits. He's not going to be happy with that one. He has unfortunately invalidated, and he's going to have to go in for a pit stop. That'll be that. Zingy, he invalidates his run. He's going to go into the pit lane as well. He struggled there. Cohen, he's going to have an advantage because he's going to get an extra lap in qualifying. This is perfect. This is everything that he wants right here. We've also got Hydge on the lap, so watch on board with him as he's about to finish first. Let's see what he can do here. Will the summer season bring him a bit better luck than he's had in previous seasons? No, it will not, as he invalidates. Very, very close margins, but I'm sure he's going to be quick. He's got pace in that car, he just needs to extract it. But Cohen is the guy to watch right now. Is he going to be able to put the pressure on? We shall see. Alrighty, into turn 1. On the exit, DRS is available momentarily. You're going to be trying to balance, do I put the DRS on or do I focus on the exit, on the throttle? Some people prefer to do one, some people prefer to do both. Now, cross turn 3, keeping it nice and tight, which isn't easy to do if you really try and go aggressive on the ride height. Nice and loosey-goosey on the rear up turn 4. It's not exactly the fastest way to do it, but it is fun, of course. Into the chicane, fully send it as best as you possibly can, and on the exit you've got to try and dip your wheel onto the slightly concrete part of the circuit to try and maximize track distance, or not distance, but as much as you can get out of the lap time. I'm going to stop there. Into turn 12 now. DRS isn't available there, but it is a bit of a straight. You can use ERS to make overtakes. Into the final few corners now. Trail braking through here. It's so easy to get it wrong. Once again, trail braking, but no. Given up on the lap. He's not happy with it, and that is going to beat him into the pit lane. So he did have that initial advantage. He will not anymore, so he's going to have to sit behind for now. Alright, hold on a second. Sebi on a lap. Alright, a 16.6 for Sebi. And not too far up the grid, but it's a smaller grid, so of course it's slightly easier to be able to make progress. A 16.2 there for Pursoon. He's now validated. I don't think he's trying to get back to the pit lane to go again, but he's pushed themselves up the order. Eager Pro, he doesn't improve. He's going again as he made a bit of a mistake. He doesn't have time to go back into the pit lane now, he felt. So he's decided to carry on with this set of tyres that's slightly older. Lost the rear like Pursoon did earlier on, and that is his lap going to be aborted. So is he going to try and go again? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But everybody right now is out on track. And that was very interesting. Pursoon has had an issue, and let's see what the likes of Curran and Zingy can do. Zingy, I think he's got a long way until he's actually going to set his final lap. Reigns P7 or 17.5. I don't know if they're improving right now. It doesn't look like it. They're lifting off. That is going to be that for them. Of course, Sebi's already done his lap, so it seems like he's maybe just trying to save some fuel. Cohen, not Cohen, Eichler. I think he might have run out of fuel there, so he's just trying to get to the pit lane. But here we go. Cohen is going to try and push for pole position here to try and have a go at Zingy. Will it work around the final corner? The final minutes of qualifying are here, and turn 1 is going to be the first stage of trying to get that. To turn 2, trail braking through turn 3, very treacherous, very, very deceiving, hard to get right even though it looks easy. Now up to turn 4. You need a lot of accuracy in this corner, and he does it very, very well. Turn 5, don't ride that inside curb. If you're going to do it very, very lightly. They don't go on the outside curb. It can be fast either way. Oh, very, very sandy entry, but a bit of a compromised exit. Now through the S section. Is he going to be able to find any time here? Makes a mistake, but still valid. He's still got a chance. He has backed off. That is going to be it for Cohen. He will not be able to improve. Neither will Pursoon. Eager Pro unlikely to improve on a set of 2-lap-old medium tyres. Zingy trying to get everything he can out of this lap, absolutely ragging it, almost off track limits. Sebi, Robbo might be able to get something on this with his tyre situation. Sebi unlikely, still not impossible though. Purple sector for Zingy as he goes faster than ever before. That is a car just about moving out the way. And now, once again, through the final corners, just trail braking. And out the final corner now, DRS open for a moment of time across the line. What's it going to be to set pole? A 15.4, and that is going to be very, very nice just to ensure that he has done that. Robbo, I think, is still going. He just about managed to get around in time to get that clock, and he should be able to set a lap time here, but is he going to actually get one in? I don't quite know. And where will it be? We'll see. One lap wonder. Can he get it done? I like to call myself a bit of a one-lap wonder, but I never actually am good over one lap anyway, so it's just kind of a one-lap blunder. Hopefully Robbo can not share the same name as me through the S section now. He's just trying to give it everything this final time in qualifying if he possibly can. And he does go over track limits. It's not invalid and it's not illegal in qualifying. You just better not do that too many times in the race, of course. And now, final few corners. Very, very tricky to get right. Even possible to lock the rears if you're not careful. He spins the rears instead of locks them. And that is going to be qualifying done. Robbo will not be able to set a competitive lap time to get himself up the order. And that is going to be Zingy taking pole position for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And that is very, very good indeed. Cohen in P2 and Passoon just missing out on an AlphaTauri front row lockout. It was very, very close for those guys. Very close. Alrighty. Let's see what we can do. Zingy takes pole position, Cohen in P2, and then P3 with Passoon, Igapro, Hajj, Sebi, Reigns, and Robbo all finishing off the order. We're going to go through the race director just in case. And that will be that. I think Cohen had a couple of issues with hardware which caused him to miss out on that final time. 4/10 wouldn't have been enough to improve, though. He said a 2/10 improvement was possible, maybe even 3, but Zingy putting that final lap in to secure everything, doing a perfect job. We'll see you in a bit. Ready? Hold! Go! Who's going to get it into turn 1? We're finally away. Zingy, can he secure that P1? Or will Cohen be able to take the lead? He can take the lead. No one else is going to compete. Is he going to go to the inside? He will, as he always does. Cohen has to leave the space. There's a little bit of contact. Zingy manages to make it back through. And that is the Williams Heifschler in P3 doing a phenomenal job getting in front of Passoon. Passoon's trying to hold on, but he can't. And he makes big contact with Igapro that was, and Igapro's going to drop down the order. He's going to be furious with that one. Sebi making improvements, but no, Reigns in the background is out of this race already. That could be a safety car with a car in the middle of the circuit. What happened to Reigns there? What a shame. I do not believe it. Their debut is already over, and they didn't even make the first sector mark. Just 3 corners, and that is not what we wanted to see. I'm heartbroken, honestly. Honestly. Never mind. I guess we'll find out a little bit later on, of course, when we talk to the drivers. But unfortunately for now, that is how that has gone. Zingy leads the way under the virtual safety car conditions. Cohen in P2, Heifschler P3, Passoon in P4. A bit controversial holding on to that P4. Sebi managed to get through on that collision between Passoon and Igapro. Igapro down to P6. Robbo staying pretty much... Well, not staying where he is. He's made improvements, of course. And Ryu starting at the back because he does get in our first cross-play driver in a league race. He's making history today, so hopefully he can have a good race today. I'm not sure if he's going to be on a default setup, though, which is going to have to be considered for later on. We'll find out. A couple of drivers going a little bit slow as they're trying to make sure they stay on that delta line. Otherwise, they could find themselves making a couple mistakes. No one gets a drive through. We're all good to go. Ew, Cohen is so close. Almost losing the rear, it looked like, as he was really getting on that throttle, ready to challenge Ziggy. He is doing an amazing job. He really wants to give it a good shot, and he might have a chance at winning his first race here. Goes for a purple sector, although we have been under the virtual safety car conditions, so you can't really consider that. Pursoon, unfortunately, making a mistake, and he goes down the order. That will promote Eager Pro after all that. What a shame there for Pursoon. Hopefully he can come back into this one later on. Depends if he's got damage. Cohen holding on. Zingy, bit controversial as he does go off the circuit. He's got to be very careful with that one. Otherwise he could be in trouble. He does that too many times. He'll get himself a penalty. So he does need to make sure that he's not playing around too much. Pursoon, does he have damage? Doesn't look like it visually. Let's see if he goes into the pit lane or not. He does not go to the pit lane, so he's good to go. He's going to have to just try and make a bit of a recovery here. Zingy holds on. Kurtz in P2, and Heischler is strong, and they're in P3, forming a bit of a train. Sebi almost in DRS range, just needs a little bit more to try and catch up. Eager Pro maybe just lost momentum after that contact earlier on. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, really struggling right there. Actually, never mind. Sebi is on the medium tyre, so that's why that gap is forming right there. I think he might be the only one on the medium tyre, you know. Let's have a quick look, just in case. No, we have Ryu, who's also on the medium tyre. P7 for them, so they're going to be looking for a slightly different strategy. But Sebi's going to be one to watch. He might be able to get something done a little bit later on. Heischler needs a little bit more if he wants to get that DRS, otherwise he is going to miss out on it. DRS isn't much around this circuit, but any advantage you can get is always very useful, especially for the longevity of your race. Otherwise you could find yourself in a bit of a pickle. Heischler goes off the circuit as he makes a mistake. He's going to lose a lot of time. That is going to be DRS gone for him, but gain for Sebi. So that is a battle forming on its own. Sebi could definitely put some pressure on right here. That is Cohen getting the first dose of DRS to help him close in on Zingy. That is going to be very useful indeed, but Zingy's not going to be an easy competitor to make a move on, let alone attack in the first place. He's so quick that you can't really get too close, but also he's very good at defending. He's even better at attacking. I don't know, you put your opinions in there on that one, but Sebi, he is going to be the one to watch. I think he looks like he's pretty racy. Robbo also 3/10 behind Eager Pro there. There's a couple battles forming right here. We've got 3 trains and almost a 4th train forming. We do have a 4th train already forming. Unfortunately, Robbo has been the first one to take first blood on the time penalty situation. That could change later on if other people also suffer from time penalties. If people extend just a few too many times, of course, it can very easily happen. Now, 3/10 lost from Heischler to Cohen, so that is going to be very interesting for later on, but Sebi's going to recognise that, and he's not going to want to be wasting these medium tyres sitting behind Heischler if he can afford it. And also, Heischler, he's going to naturally be slower than Sebi on these medium tyres, so maybe he wants to consider, okay, I'll let Sebi go. But no, he's not pushing for a move, Sebi, so they're not going to be switching up. Maybe he feels comfortable to sit behind. That is Robbo not looking to try and push for a move, and Ryu has already lost that move to Pursoon, so Pursoon made that move a while ago, it seems. I didn't even realise he'd done that, so those guys have switched up, and we'll see how they get on later on, of course. Zingy, 9/10 almost from Cohen, so that is a very nice margin. Despite DRS just being available, that could be very reassuring for the Scotsman. Cohen is not going to be happy with a 9/10 gap. He'll want a bit more. Regardless, he's still pulling away from the cars behind, and then of course Sebi is sat right behind. It seems like maybe he's got a bit more of a mojo now, and he is getting close. I don't know. He doesn't seem to want to make that overtake though, so maybe he's just trying to run Heischler out of energy a little bit before he makes that move, just to make him a little bit weak. But Heischler doesn't seem to be worrying too much. He's just kind of driving at his own pace at the moment and letting things happen around him, and it's worked all right so far. Will Sebi try and change something about it though? Almost getting sideways on the exit as he's really trying to get on that throttle, but he's not going to go for that overtake once again. He's just going to sit behind. I really didn't expect that. Robbo though is going to have a look as he's wanted to go for the attack. Igapro defends nicely. Is he going to be able to get a second attempt into turn 3? I think he will. Gets a phenomenal exit. He'll still be alongside to form a move. Is he going to be able to execute it though? Igapro now to the inside line. He's going to have to almost back off. He almost stuck his nose in there. I don't know what was going on, but it's been done cleanly and Robbo has got through. That was very, very crucial. Robbo also, on those track limits, they've got to be extremely careful, otherwise they could be in trouble. About 6 out of 35. It's not what you want to be doing track limits wise, because you've got a long distance to go in this race, of course. Robbo now in clean air over Igapro. Igapro wasn't exactly slow, because it did still take Robbo 6 laps to make that overtake, but as we see Heisler and Sebi go for a bit of a switch up. Oh, Robbo's round, I do not believe it. He's just made that move and now he's got probably damage as he's hit the wall. Even just trying to get the car rotated, turned around. Visually, he doesn't have any damage, but I think he's got at least some. And warm tyres. Ryo will get through. That is not what we want to see. Zingy now managed to escape that DRS range, although Cohen still had it momentarily, but I think that's probably going to be the last of it. Sebi made that move on Heisler, and he's going to try and extract the rest of the pace he possibly can out of this tyre. I think it'd be about lap 10 maybe. We'll see the pace difference switch over, I think. I don't quite know. Ryo unfortunately makes a mistake, so he's going to lose out a bit, but Robbo has opted to go into the pit lane already. They're going to go for a medium tyre, maybe hope for a safety car to come out. So after that spin, they're still not giving up hope, and they're going to give it a second attempt on a different tyre. A very radical strategy, but it still might work if they can play their cards right. So we shall find out. And also, they've only done 6 laps on these hards, so if they did need to go back onto the hards later, whereas other people would have to go onto the mediums, then he could be alright. It depends. It really depends how the race plays out. Lap 8, we're about to start out of 35. So almost to the double digits. Not quite yet though. Heisler sitting behind quite nicely. And actually, Cohen has managed to gain so much time on Zingy. And he also stuck his nose in. Goes off the circuit though as he makes a bit of a mistake. I didn't realise that was happening. Zingy must have made a big mistake as Cohen manages to improve. Alrighty. Sorry for that delay right there. We're back. But yeah, Cohen, he is in this battle. So doing a phenomenal job as he manages to capitalise on the mistakes of Zingy. He's going to be loving life. Does lose a lot in that final sector, however, as Zingy manages to improve, but DRS is still available for Cohen. Holding on quite nicely. Cohen got hardly any ERS as he tried to push, I assume. But it doesn't matter. Zingy makes another mistake. And that is going to be Cohen into the lead. That is absolutely crucial. He's now going to be leading on lap 9. The pit window, it's not exactly that far away. So that's definitely thrown a spanner in the works. And now Zingy's got a lot to think about. When is he going to try and make this move? Or does he have a bigger problem that keeps causing these issues? He did have a little bit of an issue in qualifying where he had to back off. So that is now basically the 3rd time throughout the weekend he's had an issue, making another mistake right there. So he's got a problem. I think it's a bigger problem rather than just a mistake. Robert goes for a fastest lap as he's on that tyre, so making good use of it. So well done to him. We'll see him a bit later on into the Grand Prix when the strategies do change up, of course. I think that undercut is going to be pretty severe, so he'll be nice and close. Oh, that is very, very close for Zingy. He's struggling on the traction, it seems, and now Cohen leading the way. Doesn't have a flashing light at the moment, and unfortunately Heisler is round. They drop down from P4 to P5, and that is going to be them possibly threatened by Pursuit, but I don't think so. They're close to Riga Pro is Heisler, so if he can try and find some momentum back, it is possible for him to fight for that P4 again, but he's lost that P3 position for now. And also, of course, his tyre is going to be pretty toasty. So will he be able to close up on Giga Pro? I do not know. Now, Zingy, regardless of these mistakes, he's still holding on quite nicely to Cohen. So they are doing a good job of it. But Cohen still leads this Grand Prix. 3-second time penalty for Heisler. That is a second penalty from the second driver there. And it definitely shows that it's not exactly easy around this circuit. Things can change very, very quickly. One of the top two might even get a penalty, and that could sway things very, very severely. But right now, Cohen has the high ground. He can also make a decision on when to pit. I don't think we'll be pitting for a long while yet. 35 laps, you won't see a pit stop until about lap 15 to 18. I would personally say, I think the pit window, if I'm correct, is about 15 to 16. I don't know if you want to go any later than that. Using all the energy he possibly can. He's running a way lower downforce setup than Cohen. Still goes to the inside line as Cohen probably opened the door just a little bit too late. A little bit of contact from Zingy there. Not exactly ideal. He doesn't have the advantage. He still has the momentum, though, to get around the outside. Cohen's not going to be happy with that one as Zingy managed to make that move with a bit of contact. He's now going to get a good run and try and pressurize him to the inside. Zingy's not having any of it, though. Closes the door. That was a move. I think... Oh, no. Cohen's had an issue. What's Cohen done? What's he doing? He's had an issue. I do not believe it. Cohen off the circuit. It looks like some sort of hardware problem as he just completely lost control of the car without any choice. I don't think he's got damage, but he's got a lot of grass on his tyres. He is absolutely furious. I do not know what's happening, but it seems like he's back in it. But he's now down to P5. From bad to worse, contact with Zingy to going off the circuit without any control over it. That was absolutely crazy. I'm glad to see he's still here, but even if Cohen was to try and report that, it's all of a sudden looking like maybe Zingy wouldn't be affected regardless, because now Sebi is the closest car behind with a, you could say in theory, inferior strategy, and also, of course, a little bit of a gap. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Very interesting. Zingy making that move, it kind of worked. Like I'm trying to say, I'm trying to think. It was okay, but it was really aggressive. Making that contact and, of course, still managing to stay side by side despite the contact. Not ideal, and not ideal for Heisler as he has a bit of an issue. Spins as soon as he gets close to Giga Pro and ready for an overtake. What a shame. What a shame. On the racing line right there, so he had to be very, very careful. But I think the cars behind of Cohen and Pursuit aren't really too worried. Heisler was on the racing line already before that spin, so it might not be as it looks, of course. But Pursuit and Cohen, they're having a little bit of a battle here. Cohen having that recent issue, so he could be struggling. Pursuit, not so recent, but of course they had their issue earlier on. Are they able to hold on to the DRS and try and have a go at Cohen? I don't quite know, and I don't think so. They will get the DRS, but will it be enough for them to push later on? I can't say for sure. That is a pit stop for Sebi. Sebi goes into the pit lane on that medium tyre, so kind of calling it already onto the hard, and he's going to try and go for that undercut. We could see the likes of Zingy coming in the pit lane on the next lap, so slightly earlier than usual, to try and cover off any advantage of that hard tyre. Although a 3-second advantage was already had, I don't think he'd be worrying about him too much. So he has a nice gap, 6 seconds to Eager Pro, who is the next closest driver on the same strategy. He's pretty much got everything under control. After those mistakes earlier on, he does not need to worry. Cohen sitting in P3 after the pit stop of Sebi, of course, and the mistake of Heischler. So 7 seconds behind Eager Pro, but he does have Pursoon close behind. Pursoon trying to scrabble for the DRS range. It's not exactly easy to hold on to. They almost have it, then they don't, then they almost do, then they don't. And yeah, it doesn't look like they've got it this time, unfortunately. So that is going to be Cohen securing that P3 ever so likely. And yeah, that'll be that move done. More or less, you can say it's pretty much successful. Heischler is going to try and catch up a little bit now. But that is Robbo. He's just made the move on Ryu. He also got a time penalty recently, so he's got to be careful with that one. He's got 6 seconds now on his car, which could be very, very crucial. But, yeah, an interesting one. As long as he doesn't do it too many times, he'll be alright. But, I mean, 6 seconds is not exactly fun to have when you're trying to race other cars. I do wonder, though, when did he actually lose that position to Ryu? Was it just the... It was his early pit stop, I think. It must have been. Anyway, he's now to P7 and trying to make progress. But 26 seconds behind the first pit stop runner. That is a long way, and he does need a safety car to be deployed. Lap 14 out of 35. Zingy will not do what I thought he would by pitting, so he is going to definitely stay out. It's the logical decision. He had a gap already. Why not make use of it and go for some fresher tyres? Maybe even take a risk and go for the softs. That would be completely outrageous. I don't know why he'd ever want to do that. Eager Pro, he has a lot of control here. He doesn't really need to worry too much. However, just over half the race to go, 7 seconds, will Cohen be able to try and catch up? Not going to be easy, especially when you've got a car right behind you keeping the pressure on. Sometimes pressure's always a bit nice, but yeah, if you've got someone you think might want to try and overtake, it never helps your case when you're trying to make progress. Alrighty. Soon, 7-10, so he has found a rhythm here, all of a sudden, and Cohen, he's still closing on Eager Pro, so he's not exactly going slow. They're just kind of working together now. Heischler, he's not exactly that far off these guys' pace either, but he's just out of DRS range, so he can't really find a way to get through. He's just constantly in a bit of a deadlock situation. He maintains the gap, then loses it all of a sudden. Does unfortunately Ryu making a mistake. It's not going to be a safety car, but they're going to still be in this race and good to go. Let's check. Do they have any damage on their car? I do hope not. They don't, so that is good to see. And they can still stay in this race. P8 right now, it would be points. And of course, today's race for them, preparation for tomorrow. Hopefully they can have a better one. Of course, and they can actually get into qualifying as well. That's a good thing for them to be looking forward to. Zingy, he currently leads this race by a nice margin, and he doesn't really have any pressure. I'm really finding a bit of a difficult situation. Let me restart my sentence. I'm finding it hard to say something about Zingy because right now he doesn't really have any worries. 6 seconds, he's got a nice advantage, although it was about 6 seconds earlier on, so he's not exactly pushing too hard. He's kind of just controlling the pace compared to what he was doing earlier on. That is Cohen getting a time penalty. Pursoon made a mistake, dropped out of time penalty range of Cohen, and now Heischler spun again. Sebi has now made a move. So, Pursoon lost out. Heisler gained DRS range, and now he's lost it again, and Sebi is now sitting in P5 with lots of people around him making mistakes. Despite having the inferior strategy, he's still doing a phenomenal job. And now I want to take away 6 seconds off of Sebi right here. If we look at it, take away 6 seconds. Okay, so we've got about a 17-second gap between EagerPro and Sebi, and that is going to be an interesting one for the battle of the pit lane exit. I think Sebi will still come out ahead more or less, but EagerPro, he can definitely make a comeback later on. So this is going to be the battle for P2 actually. And they might even slow each other down and allow the likes of Cohen and Pursoon to catch up. But Cohen being on that time penalty situation, it's not exactly easy. He's going to be struggling big time. But Sebi is going to be the one to watch. We just want to see who goes into the pit lane. I think everybody's kind of following Zingy. They're waiting for him to make a pit stop before they go for a pit stop. And he's not pitting yet. Will EagerPro try and take it into his own accord? No, he will not. Will Cohen try and take it into his own hands? He will take it into his... wow. He will take it into his own hands as he goes into the pit lane. And he will put on a set of medium tyres. Wasn't willing to get another time penalty by speeding in the pit lane. He really took it nice and easy. Getting on that yellow wall tyre, he's good to go. And he's going to try and make a bit of progress here. Will he be able to close in on Sebi at all? Or will he not? I don't know. He will get the undercut over Pursoon. And although the gap was big enough for time penalty, DRS range anyway, he does want to score every advantage he possibly can, of course. So anything will do for him right now. That is a 39-second gap between Robbo and Cohen. That will probably change as the data does update. It will. Lovely. What's it going to be, though? That is the question. It's still quite a big gap, about 20 seconds more or less. So, yes, does need a safety car. And we can definitely have one. A safety car could definitely come out. Zingy leads the way. He's still going to stay out. I reckon he might even have a look at that self-tie, you know. Maybe he's trying to cover off the possibility of a late safety car. That is very, very possible, because if he's the one that pits the latest, then nobody else is going to have the advantage, of course. He had that gap for the pit stop situation anyway, and if he knows he's got that, then he can keep going and going and going until he thinks he's lost probably about 3 seconds advantage over the pit stop runners. Pursoon goes into the pit lane, following Cohen's strategy just a moment later, and Cohen, like I said, I assume he's going to have a nice undercut. We will watch on board and see where Pursoon is compared to him. He's not even right there. He's just behind. So he is going to be quite far behind. Cohen's tyres are going to be warm. Will 1 lap advantage be enough for him to catch up? Nifojan proved it was a yes. You will have an advantage if you go 1 lap later, and you still can catch up. However, he just seems to be able to get some very good outlaps. It seems like he's able to manage cold tyres extremely well. Pursoon, is he going to be able to follow in his footsteps and get some good lap times in despite the cold tyres and catch up to Cohen? I don't know. It's going to be very hard to tell. Sebi, though, he's promoted into P3, making that pit stop, but now sitting back in the podium position, and he's going to be waiting for EagerPro to make that pit stop. Now you can see that is a 15-second gap, pretty much 16, so he has gained an extra second on EagerPro. EagerPro, he's going to have the pace advantage, but will it be enough? That is the question. Let's see. Let's see. Into the pit lane he goes, onto that medium tyre. Sebi, where is he going to be? His teammate's just up ahead. He might even be able to get a DRS on his teammate here, which would help him, of course, defend. EagerPro comes out the pit lane just about now, and he's now going to get up to full speed. Cohen, he's had about, 2 laps advantage? You could consider it almost 3 if you consider the outlap, of course. So he has had a pretty nice run on the EagerPro. He does gain to about 3.9 seconds. However, that's a 3-second time penalty. Actually, is it 6? Let me check. I'm a little bit confused. No, it's a 3-second time penalty here for Cohen. So that's not going to be easy for him to manage. So even if he does catch up to EagerPro, he's probably going to have to just kind of sit behind. He will want to try and push forward, of course, and make a gap on the cars in the front, but Igapro is not going to be stopping until he catches Sebi. Eichler getting another 3-second time penalty, which now means that Cohen is the only one to have a 3-second time penalty. Everybody else has 6 seconds or more. So very, very difficult, it seems, track limits wise around this circuit. It really depends what kind of setup you're using, to be honest. If you're using a very loose setup, you can easily just skip the rear over the curb and make a bit of a mistake, and you get yourself a warning. And sometimes if you also try and go conservative, you can run such an understeery setup that you go off the circuit. Now, going for that fastest lap, that is Cohen closing in on Igapro quite nicely. Igapro is closing in also to Sebi, so he's going to be looking to try and get to DRS range before Cohen catches him. There's going to be a bit of a little, like, kind of interconnected race in itself. Can Igapro get close enough to Sebi before Cohen can get close enough to Igapro? That is the question. Regardless, if Cohen does get close and he is going to be able to make that overtake, then Igapro can still sit behind and let that time penalty run. However, not always is a time penalty legitimate. Sometimes you can get it removed, and Cohen might be praying for that situation to happen. Not impossible. We'll never know until after the race, of course. We never know, actually, the weather conditions. Maybe it's wet. By the strategies that we're seeing, I would say it's definitely not going to be a wet race. If everybody was doing what Zingy's doing, then maybe I'd think it is going to be wet a little bit later on. Unless they've all been told that it's possible for rain at the end, but unlikely. Maybe that's what he's trying to cover, but I think he's just going to be trying to push for the soft tyre and go for a bit of a risky strategy. I say that, though, look at the gap. 23 seconds to the car behind. The pit window seemed to be about 18 seconds, I think. It's just such an advantage he has. He only needs to really worry until he gets to about 19 seconds on the pit window, and then he can just casually go into the pit lane. So he's got such a big advantage. He can just keep going until those tyres almost get to puncture territory. And now Cohen's got a 3-second, and Pursoon gets a 3-second as well. It was looking like Pursoon might have actually been able to hold on because he'd have been within 6 seconds of Cohen, but no. He's just followed in his footsteps immediately, saying, no, you're not getting all the attention. I'm going to have some attention. And he gets a time penalty as well. That means P4 to P8 have at least a 3-second time penalty, if not more. The top three looking pretty unstoppable right now, and they're going to be pretty casual in their positions on the podium. Can they secure it? Cohen does lose out time to Igapro, whereas Igapro has gained so much on Sebi. They're right in the DRS range already, and they're going to try and begin their build-up of an attack. They don't need to attack right away. They can consider this and think about it later on. Sebi's going to be trying to fight early on to prevent the peak performance of Igapro's tyres getting away with it. If he can hold Igapro behind for longer, then he has a better chance of trying to come back himself later on. So this is going to be an interesting battle, and I think it needs to be fought very, very cleverly. Will Sebi be able to do that, though, or is he going to just try and secure a podium position? I don't know. Everything's playing out quite nicely, and we're getting some very interesting situations towards the closing stages of this race. We've got a battle on our hands and a strategy battle on our hands, although he is only battling with himself. He's into the pit lane now, a little bit earlier than I would have expected. He wanted to go for the soft, so he's going for that medium tyre. He's going to go for the usual strategy. He's just going to have such an advantage that no one has a chance at gaining, and no one really has a chance at looking for a fastest lap. Igapro, does he have a chance at going for the move already? He's pushing for it. He is. He's using the energy. He's got an advantage in the straight line, a severe advantage. He's going to have the inside line. Will he be able to secure it, though? Sebi isn't going to fight it. On the exit, however, he tries to give it a shot. He tries to swerve onto the throttle, but no. Igapro is ahead. He defends nicely, even though he didn't even need to. and that is going to be the Aston Martin sitting in P2. He can just cruise. He can cruise. As long as he gets Sebi out of DRS range, he's good to go. He doesn't need to worry at all because it's not easy to overtake around this circuit. So if he can prevent Sebi gaining any time from DRS and just let the tyres run their course, he'll secure this position, I'm going to say, fairly easily. He shouldn't really be worrying too much at this stage. Cohen is catching up to Sebi in front, but he's got a lot of work to do if he wants to try and prevent any kind of issue from this time penalty range. And, well, he does need to get the job done now or never. Alrighty. Pursuing 3.1 seconds behind right now. They're almost within time penalty range of Cohen's. That's another battle we've got going on right here. Just kind of think. Imagine that didn't say 3 seconds. Imagine it said just 2 tenths. That's how close they are right now. 1.5 tenths almost. It's fluctuating a little bit, but Pursuing seems to have an advantage at the moment, and they're doing a very good job of it. Despite that, Cohen is still catching up quite nicely here to Sebi. He can see Sebi just in front of him. He does make a mistake though, so he needs to make sure he gets on top of that, otherwise he's going to be in big trouble. He's gone from potentially winning this race to P4, and it seems like it wasn't his fault, I don't think, unless he made a mistake and then got angry and let go of the wheel, but I think it was a hardware issue, which was absolutely devastating. Not what you want to see, especially in the opening race of a championship. Although having an issue in the first race is much better than having it in the last race when everything kind of finds itself in a structure. Zingy goes for a fastest lap as he proves his pace. Now the question is, will Zingy be able to win every single race this season in the summer season? It's not an official series, official season, it's a summer season, it's a series title, but he still could do a very good job here. Will he be able to win every single race? He's racing in both the Friday and the Saturday tier. He will need to be able to get on top of every kind of race structure, which we're going to have available. He can definitely do it. I'm not going to doubt him. There are 6 races in this championship, so he'd have to need to win 12 races in a row, which would be, of course, both tiers, and that would be absolutely incredible. And I think we'd probably consider that a record. I don't know. Regardless, if we didn't consider it as a consecutive win streak record, it would be very impressive in itself, and it would probably be a record anyway. Cohen gets another time penalty now to 9 seconds. Regardless of Pursuing being in time penalty range anyway, he's further secured that. So he is sitting in a comfortable P4 at the moment. Right, let's have a look. Zingy comfortable P1. P2 secured for Ega Pro as of now. Sebi gonna be securing this P3 unless there was an incident later on with Cohen and Sebi, but Cohen into the pit lane, not going to be worrying about that until he's going to retire from the session. He is out of this race and not going to be scoring any points. Given up on that one, and that is such a shame. He was so quick at the start. One issue here, one issue there, and that is going to be him out of this one. That could be very, very crucial later on if he does want to fight for the championship. But it is how it goes sometimes. Zingy's now going to be leading the race with one less driver behind him to worry about. I don't think he's worrying too much anyway, with a 7-second, almost 8-second gap. Absolutely incredible from him. Sebi, 2.5 seconds. I want to watch how that gap changes, if it changes the other way at all or not. I don't know, but Pursuing makes a mistake. I do not believe it. Pursuing makes a mistake. Further issues. Now Heischler is going to be able to make a move right here. Time penalty wise, he does have a 9 seconds, so Pursuing will still have the position, but that is absolutely incredible. I thought Pursuing might have had a chance of getting close to Sebi there, but no, that will not happen, and Heischler will try and stay ahead on track for P4 if possible. No worries at all, Cohen. I hope you feel better soon. I hope you feel better soon. Good decision. Alrighty. Let's see what the situation is right now. Robbo, I didn't realise they actually left the session. I don't know when they left the session. No, they were just getting lapped, I think, by Zingy, that is. No. Okay, so being lapped, which is not what they want to see, but regardless, they're still in the points. Which is not what we want to see from them, spinning, but like I said, they are still in the points, and they could score some for the championship, which might help them a little bit later on. They're going to have to move out the way from the Mercedes, and then they'll be good to go. But yeah, that is a heck of a shame here for Robbo. But joining late on, it's happened. It happens. It happens. It's how it. Oh my lord! It's how it goes sometimes. I want to say a huge apology to everybody for my commentary today. I've just muddled my words up everywhere. I'm getting warmed up. Of course, we had a couple of breaks, a couple of weeks break. There you go. So I'm going to try and get back in the swing of things, and then we'll be good to go. So I do apologise for that. It won't last forever like this. Don't worry. Zingy leads the way. 9.9 seconds. Let's see. I'm going to say he's going to be on a 12-second gap by the time we get to the end of this race. Maybe even 13, but I'll say 12. As of now, according to his trajectory. It's not that I don't believe Igapro can get there, I just believe the trajectory that he has, pace-wise, is going to be enough to do that kind of thing. That is another mistake from Ryan, unfortunately. Pursoon and Robbo both going for fastest lap attempts here as we get to lap 29 out of 35. They didn't want to go any later, which is interesting. Remember, though, Robbo, he has been lapped by Zingy, so he does only have one lap less to set a fastest lap. Consider him not quite, but almost on lap 31 already. That's what you can consider it. Yeah, we saw your wheel disconnect there. I was wondering what was going on, but yep, that's sim racing, I guess. I guess that's all you can really say. Just randomly disconnecting as you're mid corner, and yeah, I have to say, well saved, well saved. When that happens, it's not easy to react because you're so confused, you just kind of don't really think, but you still managed to hold it, so well done for staying in the race for as long as you did. Now, I said a 12-second gap. I'm kind of thinking maybe that was not really enough because he's almost got 11 seconds already in about one lap. So maybe I should say 13? 14 seconds? 14 seconds. We'll give him 14 seconds. That's going to be 14 seconds there for Zingy to gain. Is he going to be able to do it? That is the question. We'll have to look at it a bit later on, Cohen. That's all I can say. Zingy leads the way, 11.5 seconds now. Sebi sitting in P3. 4.1 seconds. I was thinking maybe the advantage would sway the other way and he'd be able to try and come back, but actually it's kind of not really come about. 4.2 seconds now. Only a couple laps to go. He's not going to be in any trouble. Unless, of course, Sebi got himself a penalty. No, Igapro got himself a penalty. And Sebi managed to make that difference back up. But I don't think that'll be the case. I don't think that'll be the case at all. Alrighty. All the cars are spread out. We're on lap 32 to 35. Couple laps remaining to secure the results that we currently have. That is going to be Zingy leading the way. He was hoping to be able to have a fastest lap. However, had a couple pit stops. Bassoon and Robbo both making those pit stops, which makes it very likely for them to be able to secure the fastest lap. And I think Bassoon and Robbo have gone for it. I believe Robbo managed to get the fastest lap out of the two. We'll leave that as a surprise till later on in the stream, of course. But, yeah, Sebi and EagerPro finishing the podium positions at the moment. Heischler, he's sitting in P4. And I don't know if I'm remembering this correctly, but I thought Bassoon was sitting in P4. But they must have decided to go into the pit lane. Did they have that big of a gap between Heischler? Because Heischler had quite a substantial amount of penalties. Actually, Bassoon sped into the pit lane. So if he hadn't have gone into the pits, he might have had a chance of getting that P4. But right now, it looks very, very unlikely for him to be able to get ahead of Heischler. He's just going to be driving to secure those 10 points. Almost losing everything right there. That was absolutely incredible. That was a scary moment, I have to say. Almost lost it all. That could have been the end of his race, and if that was a little bit earlier, might have even caused a safety car. Right now, it wouldn't cause a safety car, I don't think. I mean, it actually may have caused a virtual or a full safety car for about a lap, but it wouldn't have been enough to really bring anybody together. So, yeah. That hasn't really changed too much. Zingy is now going to start lap 34 to 35, the penultimate lap of the race. He is going to be giving his best shot here to just try and cruise to the end of this race, which isn't exactly that hard when you've got a 14-second gap. He's going to try and surpass my prediction by another second. He's only got half a second to do that. And it'll be a very, very nice win for him. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think EagerPro really minds too much, because P2, as much as he wants to win a race, P2 is going to be very, very tasty indeed. Especially regarding the first lap that he had, starting, I think, was it P3 and dropping to P5 with contact. So I think he's going to be happy with a P2 right there. Sebi gets the time penalty. It's not going to affect anything, but he still gets a time penalty, and that makes it even easier for EagerPro. He has no worries in the world. When he got the lap car, no, Sebi got the lap car of their teammate. Their teammate has disconnected from the race, so they won't be scoring any points today, unfortunately. So that is a shame for them, but it's how it goes sometimes, I guess. Zingy's already started the final lap of the race, and EagerPro has just started his final lap of the race, and that will be the beginning of the summer season already over. So yeah, it's been a long race. And the gaps were quite big, but, you know, that's how it goes sometimes. And all of a sudden, you blink and it's lap 35. So, yeah, very, very good job for everybody to get through this race. It wasn't exactly easy. We do actually have, I was going to say Heischler and Robbo battling, but they are a lap apart. So I don't think anything's going to change there. The real question is, who got the fastest lap? I'm pretty sure it was Robbo. Bassoon might have been able to push and have a little bit of a look later on, but I don't think he's really worrying about that too much. Did Heischler have an issue? Because all of a sudden Bassoon's now 15 seconds behind and Sebi is 30 seconds in front? I'm not sure. Maybe he didn't. Regardless, Zingy comes around the final corner to take a dominant win in Hungary. And he leads the championship after the first race. Absolutely perfect. Couldn't have gone any better. Could have maybe gone a little bit better. But still, the end result is absolutely amazing. Pro is going to take a lovely, lovely, lovely P2, and Sebi will finish the race with a P3 to take that podium position. It's a shame that the strategy didn't allow him to race later on into this Grand Prix, but still, he's done a phenomenal job. Heischler is looking to take that P4 as long as he gets through the final few corners cleanly. He will secure those points, and they're going to be very, very nice points, of course, to take home. 12 points is always very, very good for you. And he manages to nab the fastest lap. I do not believe it. He's got it done. He has got that fastest lap done. Very good job. That explains the gap difference. He's managed to do that. Very, very, very nice job. And Pursoon will not have a chance. And Robbo, of course, lost that time penalty. Lost that possible fastest lap at the end there. Sorry for that. Completely muddled my words up the entire race. Sebi gets driver of the day. Very well deserved. He's done a good job there. So well done to him. Alrighty. Let's try and get a bit of the podium celebration, as Zingy is gonna get onto that podium, of course. It's a very good job. We hope to see as much of it as we can. Otherwise, it might, unfortunately, maybe just not replay. I don't know. Anyway, that is that. Let's go through the results very quickly. Zengi takes the win. Igapro P2 and Sebi in P3. Heischler the fastest lap. Pursoon, Robbo, Ryu actually DNFing or disconnecting with Cohen, and GM Reigns DNFing earlier on. Skimming through the race director just in case if we need to later on, of course. And then we'll skim through the pit stops. We won't get in time for the pit stops because everybody has left the session too soon. Very eager to leave the session. I do apologise, but unfortunately I can't control what they do. Alright, hopefully somebody else has got that recorded, otherwise we could be in trouble. We will see you in a bit for the post-race interviews. Hello everyone and welcome to the post-race interviews of the Friday Tier Championship. That was a long race, but it is done. Heisler, you get to the end of it and you have still scored 4 points for the fastest lap. Are you happy with that one overall?
Well, yeah. I would say I had the best start I've ever had on this game, coming from P5 to P3, I think. That was just an insane start that I went in between Igor and Soon at the start. Yeah, so that was fun, and I was like, okay, I can work from this. Then I had a little moment when Sebi was behind me.
Right.
He overtook me because of it, but yeah, that was still fine. I was in his DRS. Then I had a moment again coming out of the second to last corner, but kept it still kinda pointing the right direction. But then Igor overtook me, so that was P5. Then yes, and then yeah, Cohen spun, so I was P4 again. Then I spun, then I was I don't know where. And I was lonely all the way till the end from there. But yeah, some people fucked up in the end. Some I didn't expect to end up P4. I was thinking about the fast lap already from like the start of my medium stint. I was like, yeah, I'm probably gonna spit again. And yeah, the whole medium stint was boring. Yeah, and this track is just fucked up.
It's not easy. I definitely share that with you there. I don't really like this circuit on this game. It used to be my favourite, but just didn't fit with me this time. But,
It's awkward. It's really awkward.
Yeah, it is. It is. Moving on to the next one. It's a sprint race, Silverstone. If you're not looking forward to Silverstone, are you looking forward to a sprint race with 2 opportunities to get good results?
Well, I'm one of the few people that doesn't really dislike Silverstone that much. Yeah, the grip is weird, but I kind of like the track, and I feel like I can have decent races there. So I would say just the 2 races in this game is damage limitation as much as I can, and I hope that next game I will fight for the wins.
Did you get into the beta at all? Do you have experience? No, you don't.
No,
Okay.
not
Fair
yet.
enough. I was going to say it would have been useful, but
I would like that, but
yeah, you're just going to have to grind
I found out too late to sign up for it.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, hopefully that can work out for you for the 23 game, but we'll see you next race for the final race in 22.
Oh wait, I'm missing that one actually.
Fair enough.
Oh fuck.
We'll see you tomorrow then, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, tomorrow.
There you go.
Yeah,
We'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully you can have a good race there. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
My worst track.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today. Great effort.
Thank you.
We move on to Zingy. Zingy, that was a bit sketchy at the beginning, and then later on it kind of just fizzled out, and you were just good to go to the end.
No, it was all under control from the start. I didn't have to worry about anything. I just made a few mistakes, but we've all had a few mistakes sometimes, haven't we? So, no, it was all right. I kind of controlled it, and then obviously he overtook me. We had a bit of contact. He went off, and he was using track limits a little bit. But once I got past him, his medium traction control didn't save him from spinning, so that's unfortunate. And then I ran away with it, and it was quite lonely actually.
Fair enough. So the paintwork of the Red Bull stuck to your front wing didn't distract you at all, or you all good?
No, I was even with that there I was fine, you know.
Fair enough.
Extra downforce.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, good to hear that worked for you. So well done. I mean, not really too much to say, honestly. I predicted it was going to be a 14-second gap. You got it to 15.5, maybe 16?
16.
You got it to 16.
16.2, yeah.
Well done. That was pretty impressive. Tomorrow, I assume you're going to be looking to do exactly the same. I think you might have a couple more people on the track, so hopefully we can give you a bit more of a battle. But next race, Silverstone sprint race. You won, I think, both the sprint and the feature or the main race last season at Silverstone. Do you think you can do it again?
But Silverstone's a bit difficult, so we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, I think if I can win one race at Silverstone, I can win them all. So that's what's going to be the aim, at least.
And a quick question about the 23 game. Do you
yes.
think the new features, for example, dynamic steering? What, I don't know what it's
I
called.
know what you're on about.
Yeah. Do
Yeah.
you think it will make you faster than ever, or do you think you might have a bit of a problem trying to get used to it?
Of course, there's the issue of having to adapt to the controller being different this year. Input lag's probably going to be gone, which, of course, is very useful. So for someone like myself, especially if tracks like you got your Silverstone Japan, you got your street circuits like Monaco as well. So I think it will help, but I'll have to take a few days to get used to it. But this game looks amazing, so I'm going to be playing that a lot.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, that's good to hear. And one last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
I love myself.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today. Very good job. And that's been it for the post-race interviews. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.